Hello and welcome. This is Cheryl. Thank you so much for joining me today. We are on day 22. Can you believe we're even on day 22 of December, let alone day 22 of the Crafty Advent Calendar from Spellbinders. So we will open up the window and create something with today's window. So if you don't want to see what's in here, save it for later because we're going to find out. So today we have some more sequins. So this is a pretty pink color. I absolutely love this color of sequins here. So I am going to combine it with some different die sets from the previous windows. I have day 3, 16, and 17. So the floral die set, the ticket background, the layered ticket background, as well as the You Made My Day sentiment die set. I've already done all of my die cutting and have it aside. I have it stored in a medium Stax. I do this often when I'm doing card making. I store them in there. It makes it really easy to transfer different die cuts from one place to another. I have most of my die cuts assembled, but I'm just doing one of each one of them. On the video on a previous video, I assembled these as well. So they're very easy and very intuitive to assemble. I'm using some Barely Art glue to glue everything together. And for some of those tiny pieces, I find that using a jewel picker really helps. To add a little bit of extra texture to my background, I'm using the Flower and Foliage embossing folder on white cardstock. I'm not doing any inking or adding any color to that background. I'm just adding that texture because I think it would be beautiful as a background for this card. I have some pink sand cardstock here that I'm using as the mat on this card, and I have that die cut or trimmed down to 4 inches by 5 1/4. And my emboss piece here is cut down to 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So once that's glued down, I'm just putting a large acrylic block on there just to hold everything nice and flat. And one of the ways that I like to arrange things is when I have that acrylic block on there, I'll put my arrangement on top of it just to make sure that I like the way it's looking on the card background. And when I go to lift and move my acrylic block, I can move that and I know I have my arrangement. I can arrange it right from there. Now I've used floral die cuts for so many years and created different things like this. I usually have a pretty good idea how things are going to look and how I'm going to like them, but it's always nice to see it right on that background and see if what the idea that you have in your head is going to work or not. So the sentiment here is die cut out of Dahlia Cardstock. My florals are cut out of the pink sand as well as Dahlia Cardstock, and then the greenery and the stems are cut out of Sage Cardstock. That little layered ticket piece that's going to go behind my florals is die cut out of Fog Cardstock, which is just a light gray. You could eliminate that piece if you wanted, but I thought it was a great way just to use that shape in a different way from what I used previously. Again, I'm using that Barely Art glue to glue everything in place. I love the fact that it gives you a little bit of wiggle room, and it also sticks fairly quickly or starts to grab between the cardstock fairly quickly. The other thing that I have used here is some matte cardstock from the Silver Treasure cardstock pack, just as some die cuts for the centers of the flowers. It's just going to add a little bit of a metallic touch to it. It's fairly similar in color tone to that Fog cardstock that I have behind my florals, so it blends in well with that, but just adds, again, a different little texture. For my center flower, I'm just using my fingers to curve the petals, give them a little bit of shape, and that also gives me an area to tuck in those leaves from the florals. It makes it really easy when you have those areas lifted up. If they weren't lifted up, I would just put glue down or on the center of the flower and just kind of tuck it in there anyways. But with it lifted up, it just gives it a little bit more room. I can assemble my flowers from there, and I will typically put the center flower down first, and then I will go from kind of the back forward. I will work on the florals that I want at the very back and then layer ones on top of them, rather than having to lift up something that I've already moved or already placed and affect that glue. Sometimes I do it anyways because I've changed my mind or I grabbed the wrong die cut or whatever, but most off I will work from the back to the front other than that center floral. I always like to have that center floral there, knowing exactly where it is and where to put everything. Now, because all of my florals are already die cut and assembled, it makes it so quick and easy to create my arrangement on my card. Now, if you've ever seen any of my videos where I'm doing arrangements like this, you'll know that I typically will do them in kind of diagonal, working from the top left to the bottom right. Like I will have them going from the top left of the card to the bottom of the right. That's just the way that in my brain I like them. You don't necessarily have to do them. Yeah, that way you can do your arrangements however you want. You could do them completely vertical, completely horizontal. These work for vertical cards as well as horizontal cards. Really, personal preference is the way to do it. Just figure out what you like, play around with what you like, and often if you have your die cuts already assembled and ready to go, you can just layer them around to figure out exactly what you want to do and how you like them. Once I have all of my florals down, I can add my little sequin pieces here. So I'm just putting a little bit on my desk, and that way I can use my jewel picker and grab them. I took a small one, put it in the center of the middle flower there. I could have also taken some of the small ones and put them in the centers of the flowers behind there, but I wanted to have the contrast of the different centers for the different florals. I put some dots on the background and just added a few to that background, just scatter them a little bit. I didn't want to add too many, and I love the way that they catch the light, and because of the iridescence of them, it ties in all the different colors of the cardstock. Thank you so much for joining me today for day 22. I will see you tomorrow, and we will figure out what's in day 23 and create something with it. Have a fantastic day.